Hey, good morning, America. This is Guino Scugnili, and today we're going to talk about how the Me Too movement is a load of shit. Nah, fuck that shit. Get that fucking asshole out of here. I don't want to fucking hear that shit. Not this early in the morning anyway. Here we go. It is Manzoni in the morning with Alexander A. Manzoni. How you doing? How's everybody doing? I'm doing good. All right, let's do some reading. What do I have here? I have a new poem. And it's called Awaken. I awaken each morning to a spirit-shattering sickness as my body reacclimates to reality from the realm of dreams. Chronic, cosmic sickness. Flip the hourglass over and watch it sand spill. Spill into powder quartz pile before it is flipped again in the evening twilight. Heavy weight, gravity, pulling down upon everything, poisonous vacuum. Awakening in darkness, in winter, in early January. Will these thoughts continue to carry me into perdition? Or will it be thine own body that finishes the job? Only time and grace will finally reveal the ultimate purpose between fits and fugues, born of self-sabotage, because secret even to me, I don't want to win this obscure game of life and limb and in and out. Until a great explosive paroxysm. Because who out there wants to clean up after it is all over and done with? Who wants to continue the repetition of these days on an endless loop? An endless loop into one's death or assumption into artificial AI construct. Don't think that we shall all be so lucky. Dive into dreams and awaken again down the line each time. Each morning, once again, the sickness is at me. Physical and spiritual, mental and physical, spiritual and astronomical. Taketh the essence of thy being into the eternal swirl of cosmos. Dissipate thy molecules all throughout the universe, known and non, and carry me into infinity. Carry me until I finally, fully, completely awaken. Once and for all. All right, how's everybody doing this morning? I'd like to give a shout out to Power to the Poetry. My good friend AJ the Wordsmith is going to be performing tonight at Barnes & Noble in the Northtown Mall with the Spokane Open Poetry Program. Very good poet, local poet, and I just wanted to say hi. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a couple different things today. I'm going to be reading, and then going to try something new. What will I be trying that's new? You're going to have to find out. How about that? Or maybe I won't try something new until I have 10 live watchers at one time. But is that asking for too much? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. This is going to be fun. It's always fun when you're live on the internet and there's no going back. Anything can happen. Anything. Why, the whole roof could cave in on my head and that'll be the end of that. And I'd still be posting. I'd be like, hey guys, how you doing? I'm just buried under this rubble here. Can you help me out? All right. Now, I know you guys must have been a little bit apprehensive when the producer, Mr. Guino Scugnilli, showed up. But rest assured, I do not associate with crazy Hollywood sex offenders, okay? Especially when they're doing things that need to be allocated, okay? This is how we are talking right now, all right, okay? And that's just my character. I'm saying a statement. I'm saying a statement that that men are fucking pigs. How about that? And, you know, they'll do whatever it takes to cover up whatever they need to, you know? And everyone else be damned. And I just do not agree with that line of thinking. And I hope you don't either. Guys like that, you don't want them in the same room with your daughters, you know? Anything can happen, you know? Guys like that, they're total scumbags and shit. We're gonna do a new poem that I wrote yesterday. It's called I Am Sweating. I am sweating, body heat overwhelming, sickened, period descending into weeks, green leaf, kratom, green bud, cannabis, indica, recreational, though medicinal, smoking from dawn till dusk and beyond. Stream of consciousness, tripping, drifting downstream and round the corner, a tight bend if there ever was one. Radiator in corner, gold painted and bubbling, akin to multi-chambered water pipe bong. It is not wrong as long as it falls within Washington state lines. And that's my cue to do this. Yeah, there we go. That's how you start your morning in Washington State. Woo! Okay. A crime where one can be fined a great sum and then some. The drug war of Nixon, of Reagan, cannot be won, and society hath not collapsed, not out here. Out west, civilization hath not exploded in the fulmination of St. John the Divine's revelation. And if that happens, I suspect we shall go down in fires of nuclear volition, the smoke of fallout, not of herb, not of the heat of poetic words, verbs. I shed my shirt as the temperature rises. Should I do it? Nah, I'm not gonna. Coughing in between hits of green, between hits of black ink, scrawled with hand beset by tremulations. Dull, headache, throbbing, chronic illness. Struggling to summon the will to keep on doing this every day, with no way to know what may come. If that mythical ship ever doth arrive in thy troubled port of stories and spoken words, there is another world. You can find it upon the page. There is hope. There is a deeper meaning to all of this. To thy lifetime of unabridged chaos, to this manufactured, hermetic existence of ours, avatars, electronic manifestations of the self representing thy works in the electronic ether. I post ghosts of creative impulse made whole by digitization, to be recorded, archived on high, perhaps forever. Though if that ever fails, 'tis good to know that my poetry made it into a book at the library. I am sweating, lamenting, unseen and unknowing, invisible, anticipatory anguish. Oh, when will it all be finished? The work that needs to be done. Smoking,
mind wandering alongside and underneath ballpoint tip pen. All I need to do today is write. I'm writing now, and I don't know where we'll be in a year or two. 'Tis hard to gaze beyond the veil of today, when one hath spent their lives living but for the moment. Cold becomes thy skin, no longer sweating. Leaned over dining table, attacking thy purple noble notebook. This one. Where will these words be 1,000 centuries from this moment? Of apprehensive imaginings given birth from brain to paper. Perhaps they will shape this world. Perhaps they will be burnt and thereupon grow cold. Perhaps I will have sold my soul, and thy words have taken a new role, a conflagration of misinterpretation, and who knows what else. Will I be burning in hell? Hopefully not. That I confessed all of thy sins, not to the priest, but to the people, to the entire world. I am filled with a need to share, to clear the air around as much as I can. And once that is done, I shall finally be able to rest until tomorrow. Thank you very much. I've been sick for the last couple weeks, and it's just been surfacing in my writing, as I write what I see and what I experience. And I've been sick, I've been depressed, I've been, very irritable, to say the least. So let's have some story time. Story time with Alex. It's Manzoni in the morning. Everyone's having fun. All right. American Carnage. The Artist and the Smuggler. The Old Cracker Factory. Downtown. Spokane, Washington. RSA. Friday, January 18th, 2092. 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. 2 years into Eagleman's second term of office. In the post-nuclear dawn, an aging artist in exile tremulously pressed paint to canvas. He painted the view from the porthole in his hidden studio underneath a crumbling, abandoned cracker factory. He painted the way he thought things used to be. It was hard to tell just what that was exactly. All the artist Francois knew initially while growing up was that the government was what the government wanted him to know, which wasn't much these days. The paint he was using, it in itself was illegal. For the most part, he mixed his own pigments and sold them to other like-minded individuals. And there were a lot of them out here in the West, where the federal government's reach wasn't as strong. Ever since Russo China nuked New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Seattle, and Los Angeles, it had not been the same. Francois took a step back and examined his painting. He frowned dismally and quickly turned away. "I'm sick of looking at this mess," he said to himself. "I need to get away from it." Francois stared back through the porthole. Charcoal gray snow was falling, piling up everywhere, on top of the already present 6 inches of accumulation. Francois chose not to paint the snow. He abhorred it. The toxic rain and snow contaminated everything it touched. So he painted the spring, a spring that he himself never truly knew the likes of. There was a sharp trilling buzz. Zzz. It came in through an intercom stained with a dozen different hues and multicolored pigments. The resident artist in question placed his used brushes in a clouded jar of turpentine. He wiped his hands off on a greasy rag and answered the call, pressing a button on the bottom of the cracked plastic panel. "Who is this?" inquired Francois.
"Hey!" said a deep, boisterous voice. "Frankie, it's Kev. Let me in. I'm freezing to fucking death out here."
And the password is? Francois, he had to check to make sure that it wasn't some robot sent by the government to spy on him. That's why there were passwords, which changed constantly.
Sully sells seashells down by the seashore.
Tongue twisters, combined with passwords, were a recently proven method of uncovering robotic spies by crashing out their linguistic systems. "All right," said Francois. "Come into decontamination." Cavane entered from outside through a 3-inch thick steel door and into a room whereupon a machine blasted him on both sides with a high-pressure spray. Being quite drunk, Cavane staggered against the velocity of the decontaminating jets. Once they were done their job, Cavane removed his trendy hazmat casual gear and put the dripping garments up on a coat rack mounted into the wall. Francois popped the hatch from the other side and allowed Cavane entry.
"You got anything to drink? I feel like I'm about to die."
Immediately said Cavane, foregoing the usual pleasantries.
Am I about to be
the recipient of an exhaustive, altogether dreary monologue without an end or point, my friend?
You know me, brother.
Well, I'm in no mood for it.
For what?
Whatever it is you're about to say.
Oh, come on. You won't believe what the president just said. Not on the regular feed, though. I heard it on The Wire.
The Wire referred to an oft illegal implementation of the internet, used by criminals, dissidents, and artists alike. It was somewhat akin to the deep web, except its use far more widespread by the public. "You spend so much damn time and energy online," said Francois, "and what good has ever come of it?"
Hey, at least I know what's going on, especially in my profession. So, how's about that drink before I drop dead of thirst?
Yes, I think I got a bit of wine I can spare.
A bit, he says. The biggest non-homeless wino around town tells me he's got a bit.
Francois was referring to his reserves, plastic buckets of just a little bit better than prison-grade wine that were fermenting in the sub-basement. Was highly illegal and considered tax evasion, of which the penalty was death. Unless you're rich, the rich were not penalized and instead were often publicly congratulated for their presumptive boldness. Nothing about this administration made sense, though for the past century not much really had in the first place. People were used to it by this time. Orwell called it doublethink. I call it terrible. Francois retrieved a metal cup from an overhead cupboard in the kitchen. He poured into it a pale liquid from a scratched and dusty crystal decanter. Cavane kneaded his stubby fingers while he waited for his libation, standing directly behind Francois, breathing hot stink over top of his friend's shoulder.
The Prez, stated Cavane, he said he's going to take back the West Coast. Restore order, he calls it.
What a fucking joke! Francois answered, we've been doing fine out here by ourselves, thank you very much.
I guess if that's what you want to call it, we'll call it fine.
Still, I guess it could be worse. Which is what I guess is about to happen thanks to our commandant in Chieftain. So help me! Abruptly roared Francois with an accompanying spastic flailing limbs. If one of those Republican stooge secret police sons of bitches steps 1 foot in my studio, I will lose my mind. You hear me? Lose my freaking mind. And that won't be the first time either. You know this too. I am not kidding.
Huh! Exclaimed Cavane. I knew I'd get you started. Somehow.
Oh, is that why you came here? To interrupt my artwork and to get me upset?
No, there's more to it than that, said Cavane. I think I need a big favor.
You think you need a favor?
Yes, I think I do.
It doesn't have to do with people, does it?
It might.
Hold on.
All right. Hold on. I want to check this place for bugs before I get ahead of myself.
There aren't any bugs here. You must be out of your gourd. That paranoia's getting to you.
Yeah, well, one must trust his own eyes and ears in this strange world. And even then, sometimes it ain't enough.
You're telling me everything's really gone to shit. Kevin withdrew a device from his back pocket and gave the surrounding area a once-over. The light on the device remained green, and that meant no bugs.
Looks good, said Cavane. I just had to check for a second.
Yeah.
I can't be too careful.
So, what's this favor of yours going to entail?
A few refugees headed north. I need a place to keep them while I work out a few kinks on my end.
You've got to be kidding me! More refugees?
More ignorant refugees.
I told you! No more after last time.
It's just that...
I swear, interrupted Francois, I will not let one more bedbug-ridden ignorant refugee step one goddamn foot through my door.
Yeah, you said that last time. And the time before that.
That's because you keep pressing me, just like how I'm pressing my luck every single time I perform this action for you.
The money's right, though, isn't it?
That may be so, but still, you ask too much of me.
Is it too much to ask to help your fellow man?
Yes, it is.
So you're just going to sit here and paint while good men die and are falsely imprisoned for no good reason at all in Guantanamo Tower?
Guantanamo Tower was like the Tower of London. And like the Tower of London, the Ameri-fascist government decided to fill it up with as many people as possible. Mostly terrorists, ignorants, immigrants, gang members, hippies, political perverts, political prisoners, perverts, and other assorted individuals, most of which were awaiting execution in some form. That was part of my plan, said Francois.
Well, aren't you living a charmed life?
You should try keeping your head down for once. You might live longer.
Whether I want to live longer is a subject that is, at best, very fucking questionable.
Your perpetual existential crisis is wearing on me, Kev.
Boo-hoo, Mr. Painter. We're all dying here, rotting away in a world that should not exist, and you're holed up in this palace, painting fantasies for your imaginary dog and fucking pony show.
Cavane turned to Francois's latest work and scowled miserably at it.
See, like this crap right here. I don't get it. What world are you living in anymore?
I'm living in a world as I see it. And a lot of what I see I don't like. So I've taken to painting what I would like.
And that's this? Oh man, you've really trapped yourself in a fucking bubble.
Better to be in a bubble and safe than to be out in the damned wastelands, traipsing around or stuck in some idiocentric excuse for a corporate sham, another 9-to-5 nightmare from hell. Oh, and I need to thank you between courses, sir or madam, with the rest of the soulless nobodies trapped in this artificial limbo we've created for ourselves.
Hey, said Cavane, a few of these nobodies you speak of might have been somebodies if they only had a chance in society.
Yeah, maybe once.
Yeah, way back in the goddamn Stone Age. And let's not spend too much time on the way things used to be. I get that you feel like things used to be better. But as far as I know, especially from you telling me all of your stories, is that it wasn't really much better back then either.
A long pause ensued between them. Francois gave Cavane an impertinent sideways glance, causing him to furtively shift around on the balls of his feet. Once they took my gallery, said Francois, I knew it was over.
Of course you did. The shit had been hitting the fan for a good 3 years at that point. You should have saw that coming way ahead of time, old man numbnuts.
I did, but I did not wish to acknowledge it. Because I felt that if I acknowledged it, I would legitimize it inside of my own head. And fully make it real.
Just because you make something up in your head doesn't make it not real.
This was the cost of doublethink in real time. People actually believe those kinds of statements.
It was kind of sad, really. Sad.
I wasn't used to politicians actually doing anything, said Francois, let alone enforcing such an antiquated and outrageous law. I mean, I know that now, but what can I say, though? When they set fire to the paintings, all the work I had there, I didn't know what else to do.
So, you fled.
Yes.
Much like many of these ignorant refugees are fleeing.
Well, yes, I guess. Of course.
And you see how you might be coming off as, a bit hypocritical?
I can't believe you're trying to lay this on me again. You know I am not well.
You're the only person out here I know for sure I can trust.
Well, maybe ask me again tomorrow.
My people, they're coming in tonight.
Well, then it's a hard no for me.
Are you sure about that? They're paying $20,000 a head.
$20,000 in what? I don't need any of that damn federal money or food vouchers. I don't want that low-grade shit the government calls weed these days either. No thanks. I use all that junk for kindling when I'm running out of fuel cylinders.
They got electronics, medical supplies, a good deal of batteries, all decent stuff.
They got any good dope in them medical supplies?
Painkillers, mostly.
Well, I could always use more of them.
I'm sure you could. Yep. So, do we have a deal?
I mean, maybe. How many ignorants are we talking about?
Well, originally it was 2. but now it's 3.
Are they at least trustworthy?
I
vetted them.
I vetted them myself. One's a blogger, another is a music teacher, one is a dentist. All of them are very honest and just looking to make it over the North Wall without getting laid out underground in the process.
That wall. Yes, the wall. One of 2. While the Mexican border wall was erected to keep people out, the North Wall was built 40 years ago to keep people in. America had been in the grip of what historians hence referred to as wall fever. This and the Southern Wall was a direct product thereof. The only legitimate way out of the country was through the proper channels, and that involved paying an exorbitant tax to exit. Not only that, but one had to grease dozens of palms, and more likely than not, a few errant, terminally unattended to federal, state, and local wangs as well. And I mean that in the most literal sense possible. Failure to pay the tax resulted in our incarceration at a debtor's prison, whereupon that tax would be worked off through forced hard labor at a rate of $1 per day. Take this into consideration. It was a $250,000 tax. Most died before paying the whole thing off. And it was kind of the point.
Thank you. That was a chapter from American Carnage, my novel that I started writing as a response to the election of 2016. Whew. It was a rough time. And I was just so exasperated and just worn down from arguing with the Trumpsters on the internet and in Facebook posts, all that kind of stuff. So I decided to direct that energy into writing a political satire novel. And I'm just raking the president over the coals. And that whole shitty administration, awful. The things I thought were going to happen, they ended up happening over the past year, and they were even worse than I thought they'd be. So, I guess American Carnage is not going to be done until this administration is done, I think. I don't know. I'm up to about 176 pages, or 146 something. I've written a lot of pages for this. And I haven't been doing so much in the last few weeks because I've been concentrating on the poetry and writing these other stories. It's so damn polarizing, you know? Either you're on the left or you're on the right, and the people on the left are like, you're not left enough, and the people on the right are just arguing just to argue, and nobody cares just about facts anymore. And it's just, everyone's going with their gut feeling, and their gut feeling is just, it's in their assholes, okay? Here's my gut feeling. I'm just going to rip it out of my ass and be like, here, let me get another celebrity president, and we're just going to go from there. You know what? So many people just voted for Trump just to watch the world burn, and here we go. Here is, here's what's happening. And I'm just sick of that, sick of it. It's killing me. So I've been concentrating on poetry because it directs my mind away from impending nuclear annihilation, climate change resulting in, I don't know, the whole goddamn continent being swallowed up by some mega storm flood of biblical proportions. Outrageous. I'm going to close out with a poem. New poem. I hope people enjoy it. This is called My Heart Sings Glad Tidings to Nowhere. My heart sings glad tidings to nowhere. I am caught
between breath and death. The vise, it tightens and strengthens its cold mechanical grip. Chest compressed. An attempt is made to unscrew into another place. A safer place for the mind and body to remain and revive. Hey James, how you doing? And yet still I am dying on the vine with life cast aside into trade winds, blowing in all different directions at once. Mind obsessed, driven to linger upon ephemeral moments of intuitive misdirection. There's only so much that we can change in this world. And it be not the past. For we are not Tacitus and the rest of his historian, imperial Roman ilk. We must look to the future as well as the present moment in which we stand now. Follow the good that is within you and speaks to your soul. Fall not into the hole of the void and the dark God cruciate that reigns inside. Far and wide be the annihilative wrath of its measure and scope of ubiquitous dictatorial control. Follow the good far away from the void, from the hole, always hungry for more chaos, more violence, calamitous carnality, atrocities upon the self and to others. The darkest fire, it burns inside. The fire catches and thrives on the dry kindling, constitution weakening within, the depression taking hold again. When will the madness all stop? Silence. The pin drops. I hear it strike the floor. But it seems so far away. Just where am I today? Somewhere safe, 3 stories up in the sky, looking over the neighborhood, shoveling snow over the edge, over the ledge, while white clumps cling to thy clothes and curls. I am still trying to understand this world. And until that goal is fully realized, my heavy heart sings its glad tidings to nowhere, breathing the air of life, leaning ever so far away from the grasping clutches of evil and death. I take one final breath and step inside. Oh, thank you. I hope everyone has a good day and a good afternoon. And if you're going to be at the Barnes & Nobles at the Northtown Mall tonight at 6:30, I'm going to be there hanging out. Not going to be reading, but going out there to support my friend. And we got a new, the next Archseed show will be in March, and I'm really looking forward to that. And can't wait. It'll be a good time. And thank you very much. Have a good day.